What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I did want to talk about something here in the Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown demo that, well, I would probably say I'm not going to be the only one to notice it. Now, I do know a lot of people have been playing the demo. I mean, I think it's been out for what, like 2 days now? I think it ends on the 17th, which is honestly pretty dope. You have some different vehicles you can buy and stuff like that. But here's what I really did notice. Funny thing is, I actually couldn't buy the first vehicle for a minute because the game wasn't letting me do it. I did actually have to close the game out and then restart it to actually buy a vehicle. But one thing I noticed though, when you do look at vehicles, you can actually configure them even if you can't buy it. This can also go for vehicles you can't afford. So for example, on this one, looking at one of the vehicles, if you do want to actually look at this thing, you can't configure the entire vehicle and put like different rims on it, a different color, customize the interior color, and then test drive the vehicle with those said upgrades on it. I actually think this is a very cool feature that every racing game should have legit. Funny thing is in Motorfest right now, you can't even test drive a vehicle, and I am pretty sure in Need for Speed you also can't test drive them either. I really would say right now every single racing game should have a test driving feature on just the car itself. Now here's one thing I have to say right now though, guys, being able to customize it, I was so surprised in test drive when I was playing it. Like, you can actually customize it, add different colors, do like a different interior setup, and then you can actually go drive the car for well over a minute and 30 seconds and get in tune with the way you actually set it up. Now, I do know a lot of people right now are going to be like, well, Block, this is obviously a test drive game, so you should be able to test drive the vehicle. The funny thing about this, though, is a lot of the racing games I have been playing doesn't even have that feature. Not only can you actually customize the car a bit, you can also customize it the way you want it with the colors and all that, and then go drive the car a bit to see if you even like it with that setup. Now, I do know something on Motorfest or Need for Speed where there's like body kits and all kinds of crazy stuff, and that would probably be a lot more difficult to probably have all of those different upgrade things on the vehicle. That way you can customize the entire thing and then take it for a test drive. So one way to actually do this is to most likely have it so some of the customizable parts are there. Yes, you can look at them, but some things you cannot actually add to the vehicle and drive it, but you could probably add the basic things on, like maybe rims and rim color, maybe a few other things like the interior, probably not on Need for Speed because you can't be in first person, but at least you can actually add like an exterior color setup on it with rims and then jump and go test drive that vehicle for a minute or two. I really do not understand why more racing games do not have this feature. And as I did mention before, I do understand that's like a test drive signature, like you obviously are test driving it, hence the name of the game being Test Drive. So you would probably want to look at a vehicle and then go, you know what, man, let me take this thing for a spin. That is kind of the thing you'd probably want to do before buying it. Like, what if you actually did end up buying a car in Motorfest or even something like that, or like Need for Speed? You look at that car and you go, yeah, I like it, but after buying the car, it doesn't have that good a customization. I don't like the way this thing looks with that, or I wish I did not buy it and waste $1 million on it. And the funniest thing about this though is I would almost guarantee most players would probably love a feature like this. I mean, for example, right now, if they did add something like this to Motorfest, it would be so dang good. And imagine the next Need for Speed game also having this feature. And I do know for a fact right now, I can't be the only person that really wants to have a test driving feature in every single racing game. I mean, the funny part about it though is it really is going to be such a simple feature that would probably give everybody a better experience in the game when looking at different cars or, wondering if they actually want to buy that car. Now, I am going to take a wild guess here, and maybe something like this might end up affecting like the overall performance of the game itself. Now, I do know a lot of people might go, this game has a way smaller dev team, and look what they're actually doing with it. We're also noticing things like that with like Need for Speed Unbound. We all do know Motorfest has what, 300 developers on it? I would say something like that. They probably have plenty of resources and stuff to make something like that in the game. Whereas something like Test Drive, they're probably going to have to be a bit more careful. And then we all do know like the performance can drop somewhere, or they might have to do something they don't want to do to actually make it work. Whereas something like one of those companies with all of those resources can probably do it. The biggest thing is it going to be too much work, and can they actually do it in a decent time frame? That is most likely going to be a pretty valid question, at least I would guess it is. But besides all that though, I would like to know what you guys think about the entire like test drive and configure thing in the comments below. The funniest thing I really do find about this though is the fact that it really doesn't hurt anything. In a lot of ways, it's actually going to make the overall buying experience that much better on a vehicle, and it really blows my mind how a lot of games don't have it.